Hi everyone, this is your biology class. I'm your teacher Seema Treja. Student, in this video we are going to discuss the new concept of pollination, that is pollination by insects. And the term we use for this is the entomophily. So pollination by insects is known as the entomophily. Now we are discussing the characteristic features which favor the entomophily. One of the most important characteristic feature is the flowers are brightly colored, which help the insect to attract the pollination. And in some cases flowers are not brightly colored. So in that case what happens, some other part of the plant may become colorful to attract the insects. As we see in case of bougainvillea, bract is colorful, which attract the insect and help in entomophily. In case of euphorbia, leaf becomes colorful and help in entomophily. In case of musenda, sepal becomes colorful, so they attract the insect for pollination. Next characteristic feature which favors entomophily, that is flowers in some cases secrete foul odor or smell to attract the insect. As in case of night blooming flower, flowers are not colorful. Like jasmine, they secrete strong smell to attract the insect. In case of Amorphophallus, which possesses tallest inflorescence, flowers are smaller. They join together. They are present in the form of cluster and forming a tallest inflorescence that is about 6 feet in height. From the Amorphophallus flower, there is the secretion of foul odor like the rotten egg to attract the insect. In case of entomophily, flowers are conspicuous, that is bigger in size, so that they are easily visible to insect, which help in their pollination. If the flowers are small, they are present in the form of clusters and forming a significant inflorescence. As in case of sunflower, capitulum inflorescence is present. Variety of flowers are present on the flattened receptacle. This is the flattened receptacle of sunflower. In the center, disc florets are arranged, and at the periphery, ray florets are arranged. So this biggest inflorescence attract the insect for pollination. Another characteristic feature which favors entomophily, that is stigma is sticky due to mucilaginous secretion, so that the pollen grains easily stick on the stigma. Another characteristic feature which favors the pollination by insects, that is pollen grains is sticky due to exine layer. So they get stick to the back of the insect, and insect help in pollination. In some cases, edible pollen grains are present. As in case of papaya, pollen grains are edible. So in case of papaya, papaya gives as a reward to the pollinating agents because their pollen grains are edible. In some cases, nectar glands are present, which provides nectar as a reward to the pollinating insect. As in case of Antirrhinum, what we see on flower, nectar guides are present in the form of hairs, which guide the insects to reach the nectar glands. This is the flower of the Antirrhinum. In the center, that is female sex organs, carpel is there, around which pollen grains are present inside the anther, and this is filament representing the stamen, that is the male sex organ. On the flower, these black marking represents the hairs, which act as a nectar guides, and here nectar glands are present inside the flower. When the insects visit the flower, these nectar guides like hairs help the insects to reach the nectar glands, and when the insects suck the nectar from the nectar glands, stamens release pollen grains, and these pollen grains stick on the back of the insect, and when these insects visit the next flower and release the pollen grains on the stigma of the next flower and help in cross pollination. In this way, cross pollination or entomophily takes place in case of Antirrhinum. Now we discuss the another case or example of entomophily in case of orchid Ophrys. It is the Mediterranean orchid, that is Ophrys. What we see in case of Ophrys, petals, one petal of Ophrys resemble the female moth. Male moth sit on the petal thinking as female moth for copulation. In this process, some of the pollen grains stick to the body of the insect. When this insect visits the second flower, leave these pollen grains on their stigma, so help in pollination. This is the case of pseudocopulation also. In case of orchid, pseudocopulation takes place as petal of the Ophrys flower resemble the female moth. So male moth sit on them for copulation. So this is an example of pseudocopulation also. Now we discuss our next case of entomophily in case of Ficus carica. We called it as fig. In this case, Hypanthodium inflorescence is present. In Hypanthodium inflorescence, receptacles become cup-shaped. And in the cavity of this cup-shaped receptacle, various kinds of flowers are present. Male flower, that is the stamen, present at the top of this cavity. These are the stamen representing the male flower. Present at the top of this cavity. Another type of flower, that is the sterile female flower in the form of carpel, present at the bottom, which are showing by this green color. They are present at the bottom of this cavity. Another third type of flower, we called it as gall flower. They are the neuter flower, or they are the sterile flower. What is important in case of gall or neutral flower, they possess the ovary, and in this case lateral style is present, and these gall flower are present in middle of this cavity of the receptacle. This is the kind of arrangement of three types of flower in the cavity which is formed by the cup-shaped receptacle. Here pollination takes place with the help of special wasp, that is Blastophaga wasp, help in pollination. When the wasp visits the flower, it enters inside its cavity and lay its egg in the depression of this gall flower. When the wasp enters inside this cavity, on this gall flower, it lay its eggs. After laying of its eggs, when going back, after laying of its eggs, when the wasp is going back, and when it's going back, it receives the pollen grain of the male flower present at top of the cavity of the Hypanthodium inflorescence. And when this wasp visits the another flower, release the pollen grain into the cavity, and these pollen grain dusted on the stigma of the carpel and help in cross pollination. In this case, both gets benefited. In flower cross pollination takes place, and advantage also received by the wasp. They lay their eggs into the safer place, and when the larvae comes out from the egg, they get nourishment inside this cavity in the form of seed or pollen grains. So both get benefited from each other. This is an example of co-evolution. If one of the species is not present in nature, the other species will not survive. That is, this wasp only lay their eggs inside the cavity of the Hypanthodium inflorescence of ficus flower. And ficus gets pollinated by only this wasp variety. If one is not present, the survival of another is also not present. So it is a case of co-evolution. Now we are going to discuss another example of entomophily, that is pollination in yucca flower. In yucca flower, pollination takes place by the yucca moth. We called it as Pronuba yuccacilla. It is also an example of co-evolution. This is the carpel of yucca flower. यहाँ पर मैंने ओवरी को एनलार्ज कर दिया है फॉर क्लियर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. What happens in this case? Moth going to drill hole into the ovary. This is the moth which creates a hole or drill a hole into the ovary of the yucca flower and lay its eggs inside this ovary. And then important what happens here, it seals this hole with the help of pollen grain of another flower. After laying its egg, moth goes into the environment again and collect the pollen grain of other flower and then come back and seal this hole with the help of pollen grain of other flower. So help in cross pollination. Inside the ovary, pollen grains are present, and at the base of the ovary, ovule is present, in which this is the ovule, in which egg, female gamete is present. Pollen grain germinate and pollinate the flower and fertilization takes place. Advantage goes to both yucca flower as well as yucca moth, Pronuba yuccacilla. Pronuba yuccacilla release their eggs into the safer place inside the ovary, and when the larvae release from these eggs, they get nourishment inside the ovary. And what is the advantage goes to the yucca flower? That is, cross pollination takes place. So both species are getting benefit from each other. This is also a case of co-evolution, because in absence of one species, survival of other species is not possible. One more case we are going to discuss here, that is pollination in case of salvia, that belongs to the Labiata family. Labiata family का characteristic features क्या है? Petals of this salvia flower are arranged in a manner that they look like the two lips. That's why they are placed into the Labiata family. These are the petals of the Labiata family, which are looks like two lips. In the center, what is there? That is female sex organ, carpel is there. In this case, what happens? This is the bilobed anther, which are connected with the help of connective. In case of salvia, this connective becomes elongated, and on this elongated connected, two anther lobes are present at some distance. Inside the flower, this is the filament and this is the connective. On this connective, two anther lobes are present. Upper anther lobe fertile, in which pollen grains are present, and the lower anther lobe sterile, do not participate in the formation of pollen grain. When insect visit the flower, sit on the strile lobe. Sit on strile lobe and suck the nectar. Nectar glands are present here. So the insect, when visit the flower for nectar, it sit on this strile lobe and suck the nectar. At that time, this upper anther lobe bend and release the pollen grain on back of the insect. After sucking the nectar, insect goes back, and when visit the next flower, release the pollen grain on the stigma of the other flower. So help in cross pollination or entomophily. Such kind of pollination mechanism is known as the lever mechanism of pollination. That is lever mechanism. I think the concept is very much clear to you all. This is all about in this video. Thank you so much.